Hello guys, this is Joshua Horses. You can have the title of the video. I am doing a review for Ghostbusters 2. This is just a combination DVD thing. But anyway, yeah. When I continue, the reason why I'm still using my phone is because I haven't got my camera sorted. So if you haven't seen my last few videos, this is just one reason because I want to talk about films that have some good videos while I get my camera sorted. So. I'm not sure when I'll get my camera sorted. By the time you've seen this video, you may have already got my camera may already be sorted because I'm filming this in March and you're not getting this till like May. So yeah, but today as you can tell at the time we're doing a review for Ghostbusters 2. Overall thoughts. Don't know why it gets a lot of hate. It's not the best film. It's definitely a weak compared to the first one. It's quite disappointing, but it's not that bad. I think it's different. It's unique. Some bits didn't really make sense or funny. So the comedy didn't land as much, but I think it's still a pretty good film and an enjoyable film. Let's get into review. The storyline. Basically, this is based 5 years after the first one, and where basically everyone believed that never happened. The Ghostbusters shouldn't be busting ghosts. They're lying. They're frauds. They don't believe that even happened, which I'm gonna get more into. I don't like that in a bit. And then they get they get back into this when finding some slime a river of slime underground, and then they legally can become Ghostbusters again. And there's a story about how he wants to someone wants to come back to life in human form as a god, someone called Virgo or something. That's just, maybe I went into that too much, but that just is kind of the plot. I felt like this film focuses more on the plot than the last film, so that in that sense it is a bad movie, because in the last film I felt like it was just them becoming a team, but becoming the Ghostbusters, and the main story was kind of sidelined while we were paying attention to their story, which is what you need from an origin story film, but it kind of makes the plot, not the main final battle, not feel as important. But in this, because they were building up that story, even from the opening bit or segment, whatever, they built that story of that they were trying to tell, and it created intrigue as you watch the film. I really enjoyed that, but let's get to the first and my biggest complaint with this movie. How come literally 5 years after the events of the first film, when they saved the world, people don't believe it happened? What? You literally saw a giant walking Stave Push Marshmallow Man causing havoc, and you're like, and people are like, you are frauds, you were lying about the ghosts, even though I just saw a giant walking Marshmallow Man. You are the reason the ground in front of that big building got exploded. You are the reason the ghosts are fake. You're a fraud. And I'm like, what? This was literally 5 years ago. 5 years ago, you saw a walking marshmallow try and kill you, and now 5 years later, it's like, that never happened. That was a trick. What? It's not, at least in Ghostbusters 3, which might be delayed, coming out in August, but if you don't, I don't know if it's still a problem by the time this video came out, but the virus is spreading quite quickly back in here in March. But if it's still a problem then, they might have to push back the release of Ghostbusters 3 or Ghostbusters Afterlife. But anyway, that makes sense of why people forget, because it's 30 years, they question whether those events happened. They question it. Of course they're going to question it. Some people believe it, some won't. That just makes sense. That makes sense as a story. But 5 years? You've not given any time. Okay. Now that the comedy doesn't really land as well as it did. The characters aren't as funny, which is a bit annoying, because the characters aren't as funny. And this is all about being a good person and treating other people like good people. That was the kind of moral, which I like, but they felt like they kind of the weird thing is they pressed into it one part of the film, and they don't press back into it into the second part of the film, so it doesn't feel like an important part of the plot, which is a bit, yeah, it doesn't really make any sense, because that one part, they had them talk about this slime brooding and becoming more powerful and dangerous with negativity, but you go over to, but then they kind of forget about it, and then they all of a sudden is really important again with the slime, the negativity. That part gets into it, how this place is so bad that there's nowhere bad, this is terrible, and I just felt like they treated this important one moment they completely forgot about and brought it back. That was kind of a problem. But overall, man, the cast was still really good. Still really enjoyed it. The baby thing, I understand. Like, I get it. Some of it didn't, I wouldn't say pull off greatly, but some of it felt a bit too, like the ghost effects are terrible. Well, I wouldn't say terrible, they're probably good for their time. That's why I don't consider this a horror. The Ghostbusters a horror, I consider it a comedy. Maybe it's different when we have Ghostbusters Afterlife, but at the moment, I see it as more of a comedy than a horror. That's just how I see it. They kind of, I don't want to go too into it because it's still quite simple, not loads to unpack, I don't think. It's just a fun movie. That's all I can really say. The cast is great, the story is pretty good in my opinion. A better main story than the other one, because the other one I thought it was a better film, kind of built just how they came to be, and the main story was just kind of there at one point, forgot about it, brought back near the end. That's just how I feel about it. Overall though, this film's still really good. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on so you never miss a video, and let me know in the comments section below, what did you think of Ghostbusters 2? Let me know in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I'll see you all in the next one. Bye guys.